Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Who We Ooed, an unofficial Doctor Who watch along podcast. Today, we're discussing the episode Frontios, the third serial of season 21. But before we get into the episode, my name is Ben, and I'm here with my co-host Cam. How you doing today, Cam?
I just want to stay all of the point textures out there. Yes, he said episode 2 times. It's serial. We know. There's gonna be somebody out there that's gonna be like, it's actually a serial. It's like we understand.
Yes.
We've watched now on this podcast a decade of Doctor Who. We know it's a serial. Come on, guys. But anyways, I'm doing good, Ben. I was like last. So basically, what happened was on last Sunday, Ben. Right?
Yeah.
We didn't record because I was just like, I wasn't up to recording. Let's just do a double record next week. So I had some free time to myself. So I was like, what am I going to watch? So I put on Wrath of Khan. And boy, do I tell you, Ben, Wrath of Khan, it's a good picture. It's a good picture, Ben.
Indeed it is.
So then it's so good that I went, you know what? I'm just going to pop on Search for Spock. And I put on Search for Spock. Search for Spock, not as good as Wrath of Khan, right?
No.
Still, it's somewhat fun. And, there's some fun things in it. Christopher Lloyd as a Klingon is very much fun. Like, did you remember? Do you remember that?
Other than Wrath of Khan, I haven't watched those movies in many years.
They're very good. Well, Wrath of Khan is very good, and then I had to watch Voyage Home, which certified for me. That's my favorite of the OG Trek movies. I love
How can you
Voyage Home
say
so
that
much.
though, Cam? I saw you were logging them on Letterbox, and I looked through the others. You haven't seen Motion Picture.
No, I have not.
You
Which is
haven't
why
seen
I screwed
five.
up.
You haven't seen six.
Okay, so this is where I screwed up, right? I realized I should have probably just started with one, but I didn't. Decided to start with Wrath of Khan again. And then I watched Voyage Home and I was all right, now it's time for Final Frontier. But I paused, man. I was like, there's something in between Voyage Home
I know.
and Final Frontier. And I was like, I should at least give it a try. So I started Next Generation, Ben. I've been talking to you
Hallelujah.
about it,
After all these years of trying to convince you.
but I've been really talking about it with you for the past couple of months. I mean, really having that debate of should I watch it one and two, if I watched it, what do I do? Do I watch a couple of the episodes from season 1 and 2 and then just jump into season 3? Because it doesn't have a rocky start, if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it does have a rocky start. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to give it the punch. I'm not going to talk about it too much today. It's episode 10 because what we're going to do, we'll do a bonus episode at some point talking about each season of Next Generation as I go. Because I don't want this to turn into a Star Trek podcast. There's going to be people watching this, listening on it, wanting to hear our thoughts about Doctor Who and Frontios. They don't want to hear us talking about Star Trek.
Unless we do parallel podcasts, Star Weird, or
But
something.
but Ben, that would mean I would have to rewatch all of those episodes of Next Generation again. What was that? What was that? What was the third episode that was like really bad and racist of season 1? I forget the name
Oh,
already.
I don't remember.
It's
How many have you watched in the last few days?
I'm up to episode 6, I think.
Code of Honor was the one that you were
Yeah,
like,
Code of Honor is
uh,
not good.
yeah. I mean, those first couple next gen seasons, it's the worst, but there's still good stuff there.
I watched today. I watched Where No One Has Gone Before, the 6th episode, and I thought that was actually pretty good. But I will continue the journey. I can already tell that there's some of these episodes where it is like reuse scripts from the OG cast,
Oh,
and like it's
absolutely.
not great. And then also it's like there's that big problem with this early on where like none of the characters have any 3 dimensions to them just because they're all so blank. And I'm just like, give me some more personality.
I mean, I listened to like Red Letter Media has done a couple Star Trek videos recently,
Mm.
and what they say isn't false that even towards the end a lot of the main characters on TNG are not very deep. Geordi's just the blind engineer. That's all that's going on with him. And then there are characters like Data who are incredibly interesting and fleshed out and have a lot going on. But yeah, I'm very interested to continue to know your thoughts as you go through it.
One of the funniest things before we move on from it is that blonde short hair head of security.
Tasha Yar.
I'm like, this bitch ain't lasting. she she is nowhere to be seen in any of the posters or any of like the cultural osmosis from Next Generation. She's just not in it. So she's either leaving or she's dying.
She You are correct, I will say that she does not last long, but she is still a very important character that has a lasting impact.
Okay.
It's not like, who's this bitch? And it doesn't matter. It's like, no, she matters. The effects of her are felt long after she's gone.
Just like how you could say about Adric. Can you feel Adric and Frontios, Ben?
Uh, that's an interesting question. I don't know.
No, you can't. Classic Doctor Who does not care. But how have you been, Ben? What have you been up to?
Uh, Nothing too crazy. I've just been kind of just watching a lot of TV.
What TV you been watching?
Do you have serialized, Cam?
No, because I'm not doing another app that's like Letterboxd until because like I don't know if you remember this, Ben, but Letterboxd said they were making a TV version of the app, and then they just never did it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why. I don't know. There's just a aspect. Just being able to check that box
Yeah.
makes the process of watching TV feel more fulfilling. I don't know, psychologically. But it looks like the app's down, so doesn't matter. Just watched Starfleet Academy, the newest episode today, which is a Deep Space Nine kind of focus one, which Deep Space Nine is my favorite Star Trek show. And it's got people coming back, dealing with the aftermath of what we leave behind.
How's Robert Picardo? How's the boy?
He's good.
Oh no, he's not. He's not Deep Space. He's the other. He's Voyager.
He's
right?
Voyager.
Yeah. I apologize, Ben.
How could you? But no, it was kind of a nostalgia baity episode, but it's something that I have a strong amount of nostalgia for. So it tugged at my heart.
The nostalgia wanks you off.
Yes, it pleasured me thoroughly. But
don't say it like that.
But the teen drama bullshit is still terrible. That's all I'll say about that.
You said you were going to start Succession. Did you watch Succession?
Yeah, I did. I'm about, I think, 5 or 6 episodes in.
Yeah.
It's really good.
My hot take is that I don't think it's as good as people say it is. I think it's good, but I don't think it's like, wow. I don't think it's up there as like, people put it on like one of the best TV shows of the century. I don't think it's that.
Really? I'm still pretty early. I don't know if I would go that far yet. But it is very well done. Very engaging.
Yeah.
Everybody is kind of an asshole, and it's just a train wreck that I can't look away from. And it's very good.
Love me, Karen Culkin. Karen Culkin's the goat.
Yeah. I think right now my favorite characters right now are Tom and Greg. I'm always interested in what bullshit they're up to. I think probably the most likable, while also each of them still being self-centered assholes. But I don't know. We'll see. I'll see.
You will see.
chipping away at it.
Like there was something, especially I would say to that third season, watching it live. But I don't know. I have mixed thoughts about Succession overall.
It's filling the niche that I was looking for like I want just like a heavy drama that I can just get absorbed in,
Hmm.
you know. While also, watching other things like Doctor Who, which is not a heavy drama
No. Well, yeah.
yet.
At some point, it's gonna. And then at some points, it's not going to be again. But then, like, Doctor Who, as you already know, Ben, it's always changing.
Always.
So just like how we got to change into the segue about talking about Frontios.
Yes, today we're talking about Frontios.
What a great title, right? It's a title that you want. You want to say the word Frontios, right? Frontios, I mean. Like, you want to say that.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. I don't think it's a really Doctor Who title, though. That's my only thing. It's like Frontios. It's like
It's not
that.
the death of something or
But like that's Doctor Who.
just a planet name.
Yeah.
But this was broadcast January 26th through February 3rd, 1984. Written by Christopher H. Bidmead, who previously wrote Castrovalva and Legopolis.
And of course, the script editor for season 18.
Yes. Which we had some praise for him there. And this was directed by Ron Jones, who has done Arc Infinity, Time Flight, and Black Orchid.
It goes on to do Vengeance of Eros and Mind Warp. So very mixed director.
Yes. Produced by J&T. Cam, what did you think of Frontios?
Okay. There's kind of something that we've talked about a lot in this podcast. I forget the exact samples, but we definitely had episodes in the past where we were both not as hot on the episodes, but we have definitely felt that there's a chance that if we didn't watch them in the run and we watched them independently, we would like them more. I would say an example of this would be something like Image of the Fendal, where Image of the Fendal, if we watch that now, I feel like we would both be probably hotter on it because we're not watching Tom Baker every week, you know?
Yeah.
I've seen now Peter Davison episodes for the past couple of months. I'm kind of Peter Davison out. So when you give me a story like Frontios, which is a fine Doctor Who average story, it doesn't do that much for me. But I could imagine a world where I pop in the season 21 Frontios Blu-ray with all its AI garbage upscaling. I might have a fun time with Frontios. I'm not saying I didn't have a fun time with it now, but I'm just saying I think I might have a more fun time watching it in a couple of years from now when I don't have the baggage of having watched all the previous Peter Davison's run in the past couple of weeks. It's just kind of an all right Doctor Who story that doesn't really do anything exceedingly well, but it also doesn't do anything exceedingly bad, except for probably the monster, which is just another one of those situations where, of course, Doctor Who it's a little bit overambitious. But what do you think of it? Do you have different opinions from me about that?
I mean, it's definitely a very average story. Um, I would almost say slightly the opposite, where having the last two stories were especially rough examples of Peter Davison, that this almost seems like Shakespeare in comparison.
Yeah, but my contradiction to that is so like imagine season 21 is like a restaurant, right? The first plate they give you is a hot pile of garbage. The second one, it's unseasoned chicken that's undercooked. And then they just finally gave us something that's edible. And it's just like, yeah, it's edible, but you just still just gave me two shitty things. I still don't like the restaurant that much.
It's the dessert though, Cam, that really saves it.
No, the dessert in this case is Twin Dilemma. So if we talk about season 21 as a whole.
I guess technically.
It's like they gave you a dessert, but then they gave you another dessert, which is just rotten to the core.
Or is Androzani the dessert and Twin Dilemma is the shit you take before you leave?
Or the slap on the ass on your way out of the restaurant. We'll see. We still maybe we'll love Twin Dilemma, Ben. We got a couple more weeks for
It
that.
might be a breath of fresh air after these months of Peter Davison. Who knows? I will, as always, stay as optimistic as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frontios. Yeah, I would say it's just good. It's not doing anything really mind-blowing, but it was competent.
I would say that Christopher H. B. Mead does a good job. He's not a bad writer, Christopher H. B. Mead, right?
Yeah.
We have had praise about Logopolis and Castlevania, even though we both weren't the highest on them, but we both, I would say, respect those stories. Uh, this is another one that I do think that he's a competent writer. He has interesting ideas. This is just a story where I wish that it had another rewrite in it that like one, it needs a little bit more of a ticking clock, I would say is the biggest thing. And then two, the why am I having a blank on them? The tractors.
Tractators.
Sorry, the tractators. Probably could get completely changed or cut. Christopher H. Mead, I don't know if you looked at the behind the scenes. He was forced to include a monster in there, and then he included the monster. He heavily regretted the monster himself. And that makes sense. If we wanted to talk about the detractors now,
Yeah, if they had had more, the Earth is devouring people over this little tractator guy going, ooh,
yeah,
and
but like more about if we went more into that, and then we went more into the aspects of like this colony that abandoned Earth because it was going to get destroyed, and like on like the end of their civilization, kind of similar to Spare Pots in a way, right? When
yeah,
we had that ticking clock element of like the colony is about to die, and then the Doctor has to save them along with whatever the foe is at the end of the day. That could have been an interesting story, but I feel like we need that ticking clock, and we needed something a little bit more exciting than the Detractors. I'm saying that wrong again. The Tractators. That it's Tractators, right?
yes. Think it's like
I watched this
a
story today.
potato, a tater, but
Yeah.
it's a
The Tractators
tractator.
are just they're just not interesting. As well as uh even though we're 10 years removed from well, we're almost 10 years removed from Ark in Space. The BBC still cannot make space bucks.
No, I don't know. It's a bad costume for sure, but
Yeah. It's better than the Merca, don't get me wrong, but like
yeah.
so is most things.
I mean, for what it is, it works well enough. It gets the job
Like,
done. It's a different kind of looking creature than we've had before, where they're kind of like a little bit snailish.
yeah. I'm looking
If
at
they
on
brought
the
them
Wikipedia.
back, they would look cool.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia now, right? And on the Wikipedia, there's a photo of them at Doctor Who Expedition, and that prop looks amazing. But it's one of those things that it just does not translate to TV. I think also something I just wanted to point out is while we're on the subject of them, is I think it doesn't help. The Warren had this same problem in Ark in Space of when you have a bug type monster like that, it's just hard for me to believe that a voice is coming out of that. I know this is nitpicky. I know that this is a dumb show. I should just get into the dumbness. But it's just like it's just I can't imagine a British man's voice coming out of that thing, you know?
It's the magic of the TARDIS cam. What don't you understand?
Yeah, because maybe if it was
It's
like
the
Star
Time
Wars and
Lord's
it was like a
gift. Would you prefer if they were like, where goes like a Star Wars Utini,
Yeah, or it's like,
and then people just understand them?
and then yeah, and then like they would have like a little robot going, ah, they just said this. The chameleon would have a use. It'd be the little translator.
The C3PO of the group.
Which, of course, Kamelion in this episode completely forgotten, as well as he kind of gets blown up with the TARDIS itself. They never even mourned Kamelion. They more complained. They mourned the TARDIS and its demise. They never like, oh shit, Kamelion was also in there. I did see there was a fan theory that says there was like the one the like the hat rack, the coat
Yeah,
rack
hat
was still
stands.
alive. There's a fan theory that says that's Kamelion, but like that's a little bit of a stretch.
I mean, presumably when it gets all put back together, other stuff is still there. It isn't like an empty
Yeah,
TARDIS. So Chameleon is probably chilling in Tegan's room still.
but it's just funny that they don't even mention. Shit, we kind of forgot about Kamelion.
But that's the thing. They always forget about Chameleon.
Two
They
more
have
episodes, Ben. Two more episodes, and you're going to get your Kamelion. Your final episode with Kamelion.
oh
What's
boy.
gonna come out of this?
Do you think there's anyone their favorite? I mean, I guess I don't know the full spectrum of Chameleon yet, but are there people that's their favorite companion?
I don't know. I would imagine not. Also, I don't even know if he's in Big Finish. That's how much I don't
He
give a fandom
is.
cares about Chameleon. He is
Yeah. Not a lot, but he is.
interesting. I'm kind of curious now what Big Finish does with Chameleon.
I've been kind of looking through the main range a little bit, looking at 5 Doctor stories. I think there's like a little mini arc, like all about Chameleon Empire, or something like that. That I saw, I think, a review that said like, "Oh, this explains why he just stays in the TARDIS the whole time, because he's like a danger to the crew, because like he's influenceable."
Yes, that's why the Chameleon was not with the Hattis crew.
Yes. Poor Chameleon. You might find this funny, Cam. So the Tractators. We learn later in the episode that the leader, the Gravis, is kind of controlling the whole thing. Without them, the Tractators are just mindless nothings. But the Tractators, they have gravity powers, which I think is kind of interesting. But as anyone who's current with Doctor Who knows, that gravity, what's gravity? It's mavity.
Yes,
And
I'm shocked you know
there's,
that.
of course, this was all over Twitter. But there's a story in the 2025 annual that confirms that the Gravis is called the Mavis now.
God damn it! It's a bit that I really am excited when they're gonna get rid of it. When Russell leaves at the end of the year, like I wonder if that's gonna be in his final episode. If he's gonna have that little bow, that's gonna be like, oh yeah, like there's gonna be like a magician comes in and just gonna go like a wand's gonna wave and it's gonna be like we're gonna go back to gravity again. Because the next writer coming in is not gonna. There's gonna be one writer that's gonna come in and not gonna care about that. Probably the next one's just gonna be like, yeah, it's gravity. Who cares? I hope this bit does not last 50 fucking years.
What don't you like about mavity?
It's a funny joke for like the first couple episodes, but then you get to like we are now 3 years into Mavity. It's like, come on, guys.
The Doctor knows it's gravity, right?
No,
The Doctor doesn't remember gravity.
no, it's Mavity.
It's everybody everywhere. It's always been mavity.
Yeah, it's always why would he not know why would he know it's gravity? It was changed to Mavity.
I thought because he's
He's a
a
Time Lord, but
being,
yeah, but like
yeah, he might exist outside of time enough to remember the true past.
you would think, but also this is a child's TV show that doesn't fucking care. But also, it's just like it's funny that the Doctor says Mavity. Because honestly, at the end of the day, who's saying gravity the most in the show? It's the Doctor. So yeah, imagine that episode. I mean, and that would be even worse a bit. Every single time he says gravity, the companion goes, "What?" Oh, sorry, gravity.
When they do the season 21 box set, I hope they do a Mavity cut of this episode. Get Peter Davison and Janet Fielding. Do a little Mavity dub.
Did you see recent news, topical news? Did you see that Tegan got her own action figure for the? It took her 20 years of that range of
She hasn't got her
existing.
own action figure yet?
No, it took 20 years for her to get her own action figure, Ben.
Damn. Are there people that they don't have an action figure still?
Yeah, a lot of the companions, the Classic Doctor companions, do not get action figures because
What is the main like action figure range? Is there a particular like brand?
no, it's character options. But see, it's kind of like dead now. It's like because like no child is like, oh, I want my Tegan figure. It's like that's not a thing. That used to be a thing, but like that's not a thing anymore.
As long as we get a Kamelion action figure, I'll be happy.
Yeah, like hopefully, if Alduer is listening, who is the head of the range, please get on that Chameleon action figure. Ben's gonna buy it.
Instantly. Price is no object.
Definitely with the UK devs.
Yeah. So that's Mavity. Um One aspect of it that of this story I thought was interesting. Turlough. I thought he actually has something interesting going on here. He's not just a guy who is also here and hanging out and says,
What did he like? Basically, the past couple episodes, he just kind of has just been there, huh?
yeah, he's just been there. But this, for the first time since even Enlightenment, I feel like there's something interesting going on with him where
Yeah.
he's having like these like ancestral memories of like his world being overtaken by the Tractators, and we see more hints that like little hints about his species and his home planet, which are an interesting aspect of his character that hasn't really been explored yet, other than the occasional one-off mention. And even outside of that special stuff, I feel like he plays a more active role in like the discovery of the tunnels, and he's like charging ahead, investigating. Um, Turlough was actually even good here.
Yes, I would also say that just give a shout out to Mark Strickson, who does a good job. Um, he's this is his probably one of his best performances of the show. You could imagine like another actor doing that, and you would have been like, "Oh God, Jesus Christ!" But he does a good job.
Utter horror.
Are you aware, Ben? I was just looking at his Wikipedia. Mark Strickson. Uh, are you aware that he is responsible for bringing Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, to the public attention? Because he's a documentary producer. That's what happened after Doctor Who for him.
Really?
You do know? You do remember Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, right, Ben?
Is that the
Or
guy
was that one of your
who
not having TV as a
died?
kid? Yeah, he died of a fish, but that's the whole ironic part is that he was the crocodile hunter that died from a fucking fish. There's a great Norm Macdonald bit about that.
I know of him, but I have almost certainly never seen uh, anything with him in
Yeah.
it.
But definitely something we have to mention. We never mentioned that on the podcast, and that's something really important about Turlough, Mark Strickson's careers, because that's the most important thing he's probably ever done, more than Turlough.
Really?
What? Come on! What had more cultural relevance? The crocodile hunter, which everybody knows that he's one. Even if you don't know who he is, you know that he existed and he died. Or Turlough, the Doctor Who companion that was in it for a season and a half. Not even. It was like basically like a season and a half, basically.
Science may never know.
I guess you can't mathematically weight those two things.
It's unknowable. One of the mysteries of the universe.
Yes. But like I think that they do a good job this episode as well as like the production design of the planet or colony. I think that stuff actually looked pretty good for the studio stuff. When we get to the caves and stuff, that's where it's like, all right, but that you can't really help that. That's just they're just doing what's in the script. But anytime you do get a location like that in Doctor Who, you kind of are just like, okay, come on, you know what I'm saying? I've had enough with the Doctor in caves. Like we've seen the Doctor in caves a lot the past couple of years watching classic Doctor Who. And it's definitely it sucks like when it's like a story like this where it's a cave built in a studio and it's not like on location like Earthshock.
Yeah, or Revenge of the Cybermen.
Yeah. Where you have something like this where you're just like, eh. And then like that like it just I feel like the story just like I mentioned earlier, just like it needs that propulsion. It needs a little bit more of a ba 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 ba. It's missing that beat those beats that I think that would improve this story, even though
I think having that shift halfway through where the first half is mainly focused on the colonists and the rebellion and the kind of right domineering right hand man, and then having it shift to this is a monster story keeps things engaging for me, even if
Mhm.
the moment to moment, like you said, is not as good.
Like I get that. I probably would agree with you, but still imagine if that monster stuff was actually exciting.
Yeah. What about the supporting cast here?
That's another
Norna,
area where I felt like this story could be improved about that. There was none of them that really stood out too much to me.
competent, I
Um,
thought.
yeah, they're fine as a Doctor Who side characters, but nothing like wow.
Yeah,
I think it doesn't help when like, especially like, spoiler, dear viewer or watcher or whatever, however you podcast listener or whatever, uh, who we ooter, uh, we already recorded the Spirit Pots podcast.
that's kind of just a better version of this story in a way.
It is, but also like that story just does side characters so well. It's like, imagine. Imagine if this story had something like that where like you actually were invested as much with every single side character in this colony.
That would have been good.
But instead it's just like, it's just, you have that guy that's like the doctor character that like he's fine. Then you have like the main like military guy. The side characters fit the roles that they are meant to be in, but nothing really goes on more than that. It is just the doctor character, it is the military type, and it's the leader. That's basically what they are. And and the daughter of the doctor.
How about Tegan?
She's good. I like that. Like we've mentioned before with Tegan, I like that she is a strong woman that is like, I'm gonna get in there in the action. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna save the doctor from whatever he is in. She is very determined and very much like out there. She's not somebody that's like she's not that Doctor Payne that's gonna just scream at the monster.
No, she is his right hand.
Yeah. Not an or Nissa that just likes to stay on the TARDIS.
I thought the scene in here was funny where the doctor is like describing her as like a defective android or something, like, oh, she was discounted because she walks funny, and oh, that accent.
Yeah. And I would say I really like Peter Davison in the story. That's shout out to Peter Davison. I think he does a good job this story, and I think he is fighting himself as the Doctor, which is very ironic because it's towards the end of his Doctor. But like, he is still. You got one thing you got to give to Peter Davison, right? More than anything else, I think more than almost any actor that has played the Doctor in the role, he gives it his all, no matter the story, except for maybe Warriors of the Deep. But apart from Warriors of the Deep, he gives it his all every episode. He's giving it as much as this episode as he has in almost every episode his run. Like he's really treating this like it's his last episode. I gotta give a shout out to Peter Davison for this one.
Feels like does it feel like he's does it feel like he's finding his doctor?
Yes and no. It's hard to say just because like there is a couple of scenes, especially towards the end when he's with the Tractators, that's like, no, this is a very good doctor. But then like it's still the undefinedness about the fifth doctor that's kind of gets in the way of me saying, wow, that's really the doctor. Because it's not like there's not too many characteristics that separate him from the other doctors. He's just kind of is like we've talked about from going back to probably Castorova, not even Castorova, probably would be more like Fort of Doomsday or Visitation, but it's like going back to early Peter Davison, where none of the opinions that we've had about Peter Davison has changed. It's basically the same, where he's just like, he's the beige doctor, he's the every doctor. You could fit a lot of doctors into his stories and they would work.
Yeah, for the majority even. I mean, he's perhaps more apt for diplomacy than uh violence, but that's kind of it.
Yeah, and I would say like he's a little bit more human than he's not an alien doctor. He's a human doctor. Probably the most human doctor we've had up until this point.
Yeah.
Even more human than Pertwee.
I feel like Pertwee had a kind of heart. Davison is human in the fact that he's just kind of a guy.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
feel like
like
he has
Peter
a
the
human heart.
Pertwee had that grandfather energy like Hartnell.
Yeah.
Maybe more fatherly, but like he had that parental figure aspect to him where Peter Davison, because he probably wasn't a father at that point, or if he was, he had very young children, uh, doesn't quite have that sparkle to his doctor. Also doesn't help that like his companions are basically around his age. So it's much more like acquaintances than it's like, oh, it's not like how there was a father-daughter bond to like Joe and Pertwee.
Yeah.
It's not even like the friendship that Tom and Sarah had.
You don't
This
think
one had much.
Tegan is his best friend?
No, it's different from that. It's like, but like that's especially
Yeah.
Turlough. Like, especially when we get to play on fire, it's like, what is Turlough and the Fifth Doctor doing on in the TARDIS by themselves? What do they talk about? And trust me, we have multiple Big Finish where it's just the two of them. So like, what's that like?
Yeah. Turlough and him don't feel like they really have a bond. Turlough just said, "I'm here now."
I guess this is what I'm gonna do now.
And Davison, "I guess I'll let you."
And then like, and then Tegan's just is like, you know what? This is better than being an airplane hostess. So I'm just gonna do
Oh
this
yeah,
now.
Tegan's just here for a fun time.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one of the weird things I would say, and like I think this continues till the Sixth Doctor too. But we'll talk about that more in the Sixth Doctor. But like they just don't have that connection. The good Doctor and the companions, like the good ones, really have that bond and connection that you really feel like, wow. Like for instance, Troughton and Fraser.
Yeah.
It's like that's a real dynamic. You could tell
That's
that
a
they probably
bromance.
that's a bromance. You could tell that they probably had spent time together offset. And especially you could imagine that like Liz and Tom sharing a beer together and having a laugh. And we know, for a fact that that Lala and Tom had a drink together. A couple laughs. But you cannot I cannot picture Peter Davison and Janet Fielding and Mark Strickson having fun together offset. Like,
Uh,
or if they did, it's not like I couldn't imagine like that much fun, you know?
yeah. Maybe Tegan is kind of falling in the Leela camp where she's a great companion. It's not necessarily the bond that makes it great, though.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. It's his companion because she's the one that he's been with the longest, but like there's a reason why she's the one that's in Tales from the TARDIS, but like, there's still something there that's kind of missing.
Yeah. I guess we'll see for both of these guys what the end looks like. Because I believe next story is her final one,
Yep.
and Turlough's is the one after that, and Camelion's in there somewhere.
Kamelion just never leaves the TARDIS, Ben. They just forgot about Kamelion.
I know for a fact that he's mentioned at least at some point here. I just don't know in
Sure,
what
he's just in the
capacity.
TARDIS and just like, ah, shit, it's Kamelion. I completely forgot about you.
that that would be something if Rose just turned the corner. It's like, oh, I remember you. I forgot about you.
Why would she forget? She doesn't know about Kamelion.
Well, I mean, I'm Rose
You talk
slash
Rose,
16,
the
whatever is
16th
going on
Doctor.
there.
It's we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out, Ben. David Tennant just canceled a Comic-Con convention in March, so it's like, okay, is that filming? Is he gonna do it? Is like we it bugs me that we still fucking don't know the answer. We're probably not gonna know the answer for the next couple of months. My hope is that it's gonna be Rose, and then the story is gonna be her trying to find the Doctor, and she's gonna find the 14th bi-regeneration Doctor, and then we're gonna get rid of the bi-regenerationists, and then we're gonna get Shooty at the end. The bi-generation Doctor and Shooty gonna transform together, and then they're gonna regenerate into Doctor 16. But who knows?
So what do you think? It was just like teleportation? Do you think that's really just Rose and they like switch places?
Timey wimey, they switch places or some shit like that. I'm hoping. It doesn't make any more sense that it's, oh, I picked the face of my lover. Like,
Hey,
my
when
lover, not from like the past couple of seasons, from 20 fucking years ago. Just okay. Let's not get into that one. Let's not get into that. Frontios. How to improve it? I basically said, give us a ticking clock element, uh, and give us better monster.
Yeah, agreed.
Best inverse special effect. It's similar to Awakening, where it's the same thing. It's the Tractators.
Tractators.
They're the
Yeah,
best and worst special effect.
agreed.
Here, I just want to point out something, right? Um, I think it's very telling to tell you this the quality of Frontios, which is not a bad story, but also I should say this is kind of a good pulse of what the general public thought about Doctor Who at this time, right? Looking at the rune figures, which we don't regularly do. We probably should get better at. But the rune figures are part one, 8 million viewers. That's great. That's good. Second part, which again is the next night after, 5.8. That's a drop right there. Second, the part three, which is the following week, 7.8. It's up again, Ben. And the next day, it's down 5.6. So even more of a drop. Maybe that next day, that I think it's like Mondays and Tuesdays, like maybe that Tuesday had rougher programming, alternate programming, but like that just shows you the public just is like not interested in what they are serving. If the story is good, I would imagine that next night would be more stronger. But anyways, Ben, cliffhangers.
Yes. One, the TARDIS has been destroyed, and all that is left is the hat stand.
Which we never talked about it. This is maybe a good point to talk about it. Christopher H. Mead loves the TARDIS, huh?
I guess, yeah. Legopolis, Castrovalva, and this are all very TARDIS stories, or have the TARDIS as a core element.
Which I respect a lot. I think I wish the show actually did more of this, where the TARDIS it's such a big part of Doctor Who. You would think they would explore more stories with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one would say even the one of the core pieces of no, like objectively, it's one of the main pieces of the mythos. Traveling time and space box. And most of the time it's just a vehicle when it can be so much more. At
And a
least at
home.
this point.
It's always a home.
Not always. This, I will say, I feel like this is an era where it feels a little bit more homey, especially when we see glimpses of like Tegan's room and Nissa's room,
Yeah.
and oh, this is Adric's old room, and oh, he collected all the memorabilia from the adventures he went on, and it feels a little bit more homey versus
Hmm.
like Tom Baker. That was just like a vehicle. Yeah,
Hmm.
I never really felt like a home, just a
Yeah.
place to get to the next adventure. Except maybe even with the brief glimpses of like in like the invasion of time, stories that have more deep exploration of the TARDIS and the TARDIS pool and all that. But 99% of the time, this just how we get to the next planet.
Hmm. No, I definitely would agree. It definitely is more homey. It definitely is like it's a little bit more of that family aspect of the companions and the doctor. Even though, like we talked about, they don't really feel like a family. But they kind of it's that like to go back to what we were saying, it's kind of that weird thing of like they do feel like kind of like a family with the way they get along because they don't really they feel like they weren't chosen to be together. They just kind of happen to be together.
I
In the
guess,
way like, you don't choose your family.
yeah,
You don't choose your
roommates
coworker,
maybe.
your co-actor. Yeah, they kind of do feel more like roommates. Especially Turlough and Tegan feel like roommates. That like they weren't friends. They're just roommates.
They tolerate each other, but they're not like, hey,
Yeah,
buddy, what you up to?
like you can't imagine the Tales from the TARDIS episode where Tegan and Turlough meet for the first time in 30 years, and they're crying and hugging each other, going, "Oh, the adventures we had."
I miss a lot at times the family aspect of like season 1 and 2 and 3. Like Hartnell had a really strong family dynamic as well. But cliffhangers. One, the TARDIS has been destroyed. All
Are
that
you gonna
is left
stop at
is
one?
that stand.
This is like the third time you said one, Ben. All right, just get to two, Ben, before we get on another tangent.
Two, the Doctor and Norna are captured by the Tractators.
Ooh, not the Tractators.
And three, the Doctor and Tegan are cornered by the Tractators and the excavation machine, which is revealed to be piloted by the emaciated Captain Revere.
Ooh. Ah. And don't forget, there's a fourth cliffhanger.
I didn't write that one down. Is that just like, where's the TARDIS taking us? Oh,
Yeah, it's like we don't get that many of them this era. Like it's definitely more. There's some points where it's more common, and then there's others where they don't really do that type of thing.
yeah.
Like Trouton has a lot of that. That Trouton episodes end, and it's like, oh, right now we're gonna now here's a little teaser of the next serial. And then usually it's just resolved in 2 seconds. It's like, okay, yep, we solved that. We're out of like the web or we're out of like the lava or whatever the hell.
Hartnell, I want to say, did too, where it feels a little bit more connected versus here's a bunch of solitary stories, which there could be a bunch of time in between.
But anyways, best cliffhanger is part one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like a holy shit, what's gonna happen now
And I
moment.
really don't do too much with that. I wish there was more.
Are you happy that the hat stand that has been there since the very beginning is like a prop, a semi-important prop in this episode?
Yeah, I miss it. I wanted to return. I miss that little thing.
Oh, I guess I didn't even think about that. Is there a chair? I was looking at something recently.
No, the new one doesn't have a chair, and that no, I forget. They make a comment about this. The new TARDIS does not have a chair. It's really weird.
Because that's like the three elements of the console room in general, I would say, for the classic is a chair, hat stand, console.
Yeah. Some of the new ones have a
And
chair,
maybe a
and then some of them
chest
don't.
if you're getting really crazy.
Yeah. I do like that Shooty has a jukebox. I really like that. I like the TARDIS having a little jukebox.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. And like I think there's a cool thing with that also is like you can imagine all these records from all these different time periods and all these different planets. Well, maybe planets wouldn't have different records, but you could also imagine maybe they could.
I would say records, which are an evolution of like wax cylinders, are kind of such a fundamental way to record sound that I could see them being at least a stepping stone for societies that have the capability for that level of intelligence.
Dude, we started this with a Star Trek, and like you know how like in Star Trek they get into Starfleet when like they get like warp speed or whatever. Imagine like an organization. It's like you're able to join the civilization as soon as you're able you discovered record players.
That would be something.
But anyways, Ben, I think this is it for Frontios, except for after the rankings and ratings.
So Cam,
that was a deep sigh of just being like, oh shit, we're not over. We still got more to do for this podcast.
so Cam, how would you rate Frontios?
Okay. Do I like this more or less than Black Orchid, which I gave a 7.1? I think I like it a little bit. This is a hard one. Because I gave Casharova a 7. It's pretty much on par with Casharova, I would say. So I'm thinking I'm gonna give it a 7. Maybe a little bit too low, but I think it's a 7.
No, I would agree. This is a very 7 out of 10 story. Not excellent, not bad. To talk about the polls, Doctor Who magazine does a poll every now and then since 1998, every decade or so, I should say. In 2023, Frontios ranked 11. Likewise, in 2014, in 2009, it was ranked 10, and in 1998, it was ranked 9. So a downward trend over time, but approximately middle of the road for the Fifth Doctor throughout.
Yeah. And it's also the last time I did a full poll in 2014 was kind of middle in the road in just general. It ranked 147 out of 241. So around the halfway point of stories. Above it was Android Invasion, which I understand. I like Android Invasion, I'd say more than this.
Agreed.
Um, and then Death to Daleks, which we both hate way more than this. We both were not fans of Death to Daleks, even though it has its fans, Ben. We're just not one of them.
Is that I can't even no. Death to the Daleks is
That's the
puzzle
season
room,
11
right?
one. Yeah, that's the puzzle room. And that's the one where he has a little friend
I miss him every day.
with the bad score.
Well, I think that'll do it for this episode. Join us next week for Resurrection of the Daleks.
Kills. Let's go, Ben. We're gonna see so much murder. Let's go.
Yeah.
Do you know about that, about the story?
No.
It has like it's regarded as being like one of the highest death counts in all of Doctor Who. It has so much death. It has more. The famous quote about it. It has more deaths than the Terminator. So look forward to that.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
I
X
will.
would have a lesson. He was like, you know what? I just want to kill everything, and at like 7 o'clock on BBC One.
Yeah, I will look forward to that. But it's kind of the beginning of the end.
Yes.
Are you sad?
Oh no, because it's this whole entire time it's just been like it's been five. The Fifth Doctor's been, oh yeah, Earthshock. Oh yeah, 5 Doctors, and now it's oh yeah, Gives Ernazani. It kind of works out that like each season has like towards the end it has like a little treat to reward yourself.
Makes it all worth it.
And Gives Ernazani is a sweet treat waiting for us, man. I'm so
Does
excited.
Does 6 have any treats?
Yeah, the Avengers on Varys is the treat.
But that's like the
I,
second
I like
episode of
Vengeance on Varys.
season 22.
And then I like his Dalek story. I always get them confused. Revelation, or is that Resurrection? No, yeah, Resurrection's the one that's next week. Revelation is the 6th Doctor one. All right, peace out, everyone. Say goodbye,
Have a
Ben.
wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.
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 Goodbye.